Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Comic Hall. I am your host, Dylan Lang, and I just finished my drink, so I have nothing to drink. So hopefully I can get this done quick so I get something to drink because it's hot as hell here in Reisterstown, Maryland, where I am speaking from live on Friday, the 29th of June. Tomorrow is the last day of June, and it's also, let me see, 31, 2, 3, 5 days until 4th of July. So I didn't get my comics until today due to a number of different reasons. My son had to be express care and was home all day on Wednesday, and Thursday I was stuck in horrible traffic and had to pick up my kids from camp, so I wasn't able to stop by before, but now I was able to stop by and get some comics in. So I looked through them briefly, and to be honest, there's really not a lot there this week. There's some stuff. I just saw one that's going to be important to talk about, and then there's some other stuff that's going to be pretty good. But it just seemed like kind of a blah week this week. Next week's going to be amazing. Batman number 50. Hopefully, Batman and Catwoman will remain married. I hope so. That's the dream I'm hoping for. But that Batman 50 comes out next week. Captain America number 1 comes out on 4th of July. Batman 50 comes out on 4th of July. Catwoman number 1 by Joelle Jones is coming out on July 4th. And there was a few other ones that I saw that I was like, ooh, this could be a pretty good weekend. It doesn't look like it's going to be too crazy for me. And I've been noticing my costs have gone down immensely. There's a few more books I didn't pick up today. Detective and Batgirl, to be exact, are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. But there were a whole bunch of other ones that I skipped out on as well. And my bill was high this week because I wanted to buy my son something for all the pain and suffering he went through this week. Anyway, we're here to talk about that. We're here to talk about comics. So this is this week's Comic Hall. As I said, some okay stuff in here, but nothing outlandishly outstanding. And my wife, who I was hoping was going to sleep a little bit, is now coming down the stairs, deciding she doesn't want to sleep, apparently. So, oh well, here we go. First up from DC, we have the final issue of Batman Prelude to the Wedding. This is Joker versus Harley, and this actually leads right into Batman 48, which is came out a couple weeks ago, which was the beginning of the small Batman Joker wedding storyline, but this one sets that up. Tim Seeley wrote all of these stories. Sami Basri, did the artwork for it. So Sami Basri is, I remember that person doing some stuff from the New 52. I just can't remember what it is, but it's a smackdown between Harley and Joker, which is pretty cool. So good on that. Hooray for that. So here we go. So there's that one. So this is all over with, and now the wedding, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. Next up, we have Man of Steel number 5. Still not all on board on this, but I'm going to get all the 6 issues just to read it, and then we'll determine if I want to continue with the series. We'll see. Anyway, this one is written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Adam Hughes, who doesn't really do like regular series anymore. Jason Fabak has a few pages in there as well. I think he's doing the Jor-El scenes. And Alex Sinclair and Hughes did the inks. Yeah, this is Fabak. You can tell a difference, absolutely. So I don't like where that storyline's going, but oh well, what can you do? So we shall see. Bad news, unfortunately, this has been pushed back. Justice League Odyssey looks great. Nothing that Joshua Williamson or Stephen Sedgwick did. More along the lines of there was a printer issue on the first 2 issues that they have to redo both issues. So it's going to be pushed back by 7 weeks, they said. So you're probably looking at that probably more in September. You'll probably see the new Justice League Odyssey, which is a shame because I really like Stephen Sedgwick's artwork, and the fact that he has to redo everything is interesting. Flash Wars getting ready to culminate soon. This is issue 49 of The Flash. Joshua Williamson, Howard Porter. So it's going to have long-lasting ramifications, they say. And Joshua Williamson is one of those guys who's hooked up with the metal stuff because he helped do that thing. So he's going to be working a lot of the metal stories as well, metal stuff that's been going on there. And apparently there's going to be a change in the Flash. So we'll see. And something to do with this hole in the source wall is going to cause something changes to the Speed Force. We'll see. Speaking of metal stuff, we've got Silencer's really the only other comic that I'm still collecting religiously from that. I don't know how much longer I'm going to do that. I think John Romita Jr. is off it. Not that Bogdanovic isn't doing a good job, and Dan Abnett is always doing a great job. But again, I got to save on money. But I've enjoyed this series, and I'm probably going to stick with it for just a little while longer to see what happens. And Bogdanovic looks good, and I think Patrick Zurcher's taking it over eventually. So there's that. Terrifics, I'm probably not going to buy this anymore, but I figured may as well just keep up for a little bit longer. Ivan Reyes is no longer doing the artwork with it. He never was going to. He only did one issue, and that's it, as expected. But Doc Shaner and Jeff Lemire. Jeff Lemire's writing, and Doc Shaner is doing the art. It's an interesting concept, but again, if I have to cut down on comics to save money, these metal ones I'm probably going to do a good job on, but we'll see. It's a good series so far, so we'll keep going with it. Mara number 5, one more issue to go in this miniseries, but Mara is a great character, and Dan Abnett really knows how to write her, and he's writing this with Lan Medina and Norm Rapmud doing the artwork, stuff like that, and it's keeping her, doing a solo thing, which, proves she could get her own book eventually, or she's enough of a compelling character that she doesn't need Aquaman to help her around. So one more issue for that one. That is it for the regular DC. Next up we have one Vertigo and one Young Animal. With a heavy heart, I have to declare this is the last issue of Astro City number 52, the comic. Now, it's not the last of Astro City you're going to see. Astro City is going to be coming back now as original graphic novels, which I guess are okay. You can tell a longer form story in one sitting instead of over a couple of issues, and you can get one artist to work on it and still be okay. Particularly Brent Anderson, who comes back on the art chores for doing this. Kurt Busiek's world, Astro City, is phenomenal, and it is a series that I'm always telling people you need to pick up and you need to read because it is just that good. That's the one thing I tell you. If you're new to comics, go to the local comic book store and you go and you buy Astro City trade paperbacks and you read them, and you will love them, and you will want more and more and more, and there are plenty of them. So as I said, you'll be able to see the more Astro City and original graphic novels, but they will not be any monthly comics. So we'll see what happens. Okay, it says next year, Astro City Enforcement, the first in a run of original graphic novels, will be out. So here is the cover for that. So look for that next year. So farewell, Astro City. Go to your local comic book store. If you're new to the comic book world, go to your local comic book store. Go pick up Astro City trades, particularly if your store is doing weekend sales. My store is doing 50% off of everything this weekend and next weekend for 4th of July. So highly recommend go to your local comic book store. Pick up everything you can find on Astro City. Trust me on this. You will be enthralled by it. You will love it. That is world building at its finest. Next up, we have Mother Panic Gotham AD number 4, Jody Hauser, and where's his name? Ibrahim Mustafa. We get a look at the Young Animal versions of various DC characters, like here's Mr. Freeze and the Red Hood. You also get a Joker type. You also get, where are you, Scarecrow? Maybe Scarecrow. Where's Scarecrow? I just saw Scarecrow. Oh, not a great view of Scarecrow, but there's Scarecrow right there. So you get a different view. Oh, here's some Scarecrow with a red hood. So, so you get a little bit of the actual Gotham of Mother Panic and Young Animal. That's it for DC. Marvel, we have Wakanda Forever, #1 of 3-issue, I guess, mini-series. They're a bunch of one-shots, which are going to be Adventures of the Dora Milaje, which are, you know, these female bodyguards where they're going to team up with different people. This one, I just bought it. I wasn't going to, but I figured, why not? Nnedi Okorafor and art by Alberto Albuquerque. And it stars Spider-Man. It's they are teaming up with Spider-Man. So you get a distinct, interesting look at things, and I figured, why not? Spider-Man's in it. It's Wakanda, and we'll see what happens. Next month in X-Men, Wakanda Forever. So they're going to be doing the X-Men is the next one they're going to be doing. So that might be interesting because Storm's former liaison with Black Panther. Speaking of Black Panther, I wasn't going to get to see that. My son's like, look, Black Panther, Dad. So I said, oh, why not? It's issue #2, the new intergalactic Black Panther. Tanishi Coates and Daniel Kuna has Wakanda in outer space, and Black Panther, you know, in outer space, which I mentioned this on my show, Dylan Knows, a while back, that Marvel seems to be doing a lot of different characters in space. Doctor Strange is in space now. Punisher, Ghost Rider is in space now also. So, and with the advent of how good Black Panther did, those 2 books coming out on their own is a sign of the times. Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man #306 by Chip Zdarsky with art by Adam Kubert and Juan Frigeri. I got to get back into this because I like Zdarsky's few issues, and then we get a little bit more into his sister, you know, reactions to his sister and stuff like that. So it should be interesting to see what this is all about. But it's interesting that they're doing, you know, he's teaming him up with a bunch of people, which is good. Spider-Man is a different type of Spider-Man, so I need to get back into reading it. That's it for Marvel. Again, I haven't really been reading a lot of Marvel, and as I said, I'll probably get Captain America next week, and is that really about all that I saw? Oh, there's going to be another one of the Miss Marvel Squirrel Girl crossovers. Star Wars #50 also is coming out. Actually, I'm not going to get it, but you know, if you're fans of Star Wars, it's an impressive milestone. So we got a bunch of independent books, and then we're going to get out of here. First up, again, I wasn't going to buy this, but I'm also a big dumb male, and they're bringing Vampirella back in her old uniform with Joe Michael Linsner, who created Dawn, and his wife Christina Dieck Linsner, drawing it. The artwork is stunning, and it's sexy Vampirella. I'm a male. I like it, and I like Joseph Michael Linsner's type of artwork because it's very very sexy, as it were. Ooh, that's interesting looking. There is going to be a comic called Robots versus Princesses, which might actually be pretty interesting. I might have to check that out. But see, look at that. So I may have to keep getting this. Speaking of Vampirella, Hack Slash Resurrection #8 also guest stars old school Vampirella. So again, nice cover. Written by Tini Howard with art by Seedlore. And again, not only is Vampirella hottie, so is the main character here. So Hack Slash is one of my, you know, secret loves. I've really always liked this book, and I sort of fallen behind, and I kind of want to get caught back up to see what was going on with Tim Seeley's version of it. So awesome. Also, speaking of hotties, Red Sonja. Number 17, Amy Chu is on her next story arc with Eric Burnham on script, illustrated by Daniel HDR. So she's back in her medieval times, and again, a hottie with the sword. Can't go wrong with that, and it's Red Sonja. Keeping with the 2 and 2, here's another Red Sonja. This is Legendary Red Sonja, the final issue of that, issue number 5. Written by Mark Andreyko with art by Rodney Buscemi. Steampunk Red Sonja. I'm actually kind of glad it's over because I picked it up to begin with, but then I was like, you got to get all 5 issues. You can't just get a couple and be like, I'm done with it. You got to see how the story ends. So now I know. Sex Criminals number 25 is the end of their next story arc, so it's going to be a little bit of a break for Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky, and you'll get the last story arc coming up, so it's probably going to be another 6 issues probably, so probably over around issue 31. The book title, like Sex Criminals. There's some nudity in this, sex, and all kinds of stuff, so I'm just showing you the stuff I can show you. A lot of talking head stuff and hard to describe the storyline without giving too much away. Her Infernal Descent number 3 is an interesting story about an elderly woman who's trying to find her family, and she has to go through the 9 rings of hell. It's written by Lonnie Nadler and Zach Thompson with art by Kyle Charles. So it is a insanely weird book, but also something different for those people, comic book fans who are looking for something different, as is Sex Criminals. There's everything. There's a little bit of something for everybody. Finally, I thought this was the last issue, but apparently there is one more, and it is Matahari number 4. It's a 5-issue miniseries, apparently. So I got it. It's a historical thing. I'll keep up with it again. I don't want to, not do something. And again, it's something different in the comic book world. So Emma Beebe story, Ariella Christiantini is doing the artwork. So story Matahari. And this actually looks interesting. There is something new coming out soon called The Seeds from David Aja and Ann Nocenti. And I love Ann Nocenti stuff, so we will see if I will pick that up. That is it for this week. As I said, next week's going to be the big one. I will probably be going to the comic book store on July 4th because it should be open since New Comic Book Day is on July 4th. You got a Captain America book on 4th of July. Why not? You get Batman and Catwoman's wedding. That's the big deal. And Catwoman number 1 is coming out also. Star Wars 50, Justice League 3 with the Ultraviolet core being introduced. I'm trying to remember anything else. A few other things, some surprises. One book I'm interested in from Image that I might look at might be a little bit more racy, so we'll see. Other than that, go to the comic book store. Go pick up any of the comics I just showed you, or just take a walk around and see what else you could find. As I said, this isn't all the comics I bought, all the comics that came out this week. These are all the only ones that I bought, so there's a whole bunch more that came out, so you might find something you like that I'm not a big fan of or I don't read. My store has lots of Pops. My son got one, so Funko Pops. So why not, check that out as well. But they also have toys. Your store should have toys, shirts, cards, anime, manga, trade paperbacks. Go get some Astro City trade paperbacks. And who knows, on the weekends you might have special sales like my store. As I said, it's like 50% off of everything this weekend, at least this weekend and next weekend, due to July 4th weekend. So that's always worth a bonus. So I am done because I'm tired and I'm hot. And I have to go to work tomorrow morning, which pisses me off, but for Saturday. But watch out for my regular show, Dylan Knows. It'll be sometime this weekend. I don't know. We've got kids spending the night, kids not being over here, that type of thing. So my wife needing to apply for new jobs. So all kinds of crazy things going on. So we'll see. But it'll be sometime this weekend, I promise you. Till then, I'll see you next week for new comics. And we'll get a look at Batman number 50 and his wedding to Catwoman, Catwoman number 1 by Joelle Jones, Captain America number 1, and anything else that I have forgotten. Bye.